Oh, well, I'm back here, bringing you an exciting episode of Disney Debates, Lilo and Stitch edition. That's right. In honor of Stitch Day and the recently released remake, we're having a battle of the words to determine who reigns supreme when it comes to the little blue alien we all know and love. Tonight's topics include Best Addition to the remake, which attraction should Stitch take over, and Best Side Character. Now grab your surfboards, some of your cousins, and ride the wave down to the arena! In this corner, he feeds his fish peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because he can't give a fish stinking tuna. Are you nuts? It's Pergron, the people's champ.
Hello, happy to be here talking about the thing I'm most passionate about, live-action remakes of Disney movies.
All right, then. Welcome, Pergron. And in the other corner, a fan of the tropics himself, literally with Stitch tattooed onto his very body, it's Tiki!
That's right. It's there. It's there on my right shoulder.
Alright. And joining me on the Tropical Tribunal is Blue Dragon 5 and Rohit Dar. How's everybody doing this fine evening?
Stoked. Excited for the debate.
Good. I'm glad to hear. Obviously, Lilo and Stitch is a property that's near and dear to pretty much all of our hearts.
Well, yeah.
So it is really exciting to be here and have a debate dedicated to it. And today of all days, obviously, Stitch Day.
626.
Exactly. That's why I said, if we're doing this debate, it needs to be on the 26th of this month. And also, not so coincidentally, they also announced the sequel to the live-action remake today as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So serendipitous.
Yep.
Oh, has anyone seen the festivities today, by the way?
What do you mean by festivities?
Oh, yeah, apparently at the, I don't know if it's just today or not, but I mean, they've been posting stuff, like Chris Sanders, put out a little something, but really, at the Disney parks, they've had Gantu and Hamsterville there.
I saw Gantu. Yeah, that's cool.
Hamsterville?
Hamsterville, Gantu, Angel, they've had a few of them, yeah. They did this whole little celebration. I think it's today they did the celebration. I know it was maybe for the whole month or what, but...
Yeah, was that the Tomorrowland dance party?
Hamsterville is the kind of the surprising one.
Yeah, I feel I feel Gantu and Hamsterville look too happy in their suit design, but that's just me.
What I'm just thinking is Gantu's obviously a big villain in the first movie, and Angel's Disney always merchandises Angel, but Hamsterville? That is a
probably Stitch dating his cousin, but I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh God.
And
let's unpack that on this episode.
let's not say we did, all right?
Okay.
Speed round question: yes or no? Is Stitch and Angel's relationship technically incest?
All right, let's move on.
Moving right along.
Look it up. All right, so how about a refresher on the rules?
I don't think we need them, but for the audience, sure, why not?
I think you need them, Tiki.
I literally invented this game, Dragon.
Do you remember inventing the game?
Yes, I do. I remember watching movie fights on the Screen Junkies channel and being like, we can do better.
All right. Stop stealing the boys' thunder. Let them do the thing.
All right. I'll do a Cliff Notes version. All right. The 3 rounds. You reveal your pick. Opening statement. You guys duke it out. When I've heard enough, Dragon signals R2D2.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I think. Oh, there we go.
Oh my God.
Oh,
is R2 dying, Dragon?
He might be. I don't know.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh shit.
Is R2 the Trouble board game? Is that what's going on right now? You just were popping the middle.
Oh no. Well, if R2 doesn't sound up, I'll give a verbal clue then. All right.
Yeah, you might have to.
Will you beep like R2D2?
I'll try my best. But my point is when that happens, I'll be telling you both to zip it. At that point, the three of us, Rohit, Dragon, and I, will deliberate, and the contestant with the most votes wins. That goes on for 3 rounds. At the end of the 3rd round, I have a little surprise for you: the Scrump coin. With the Scrump coin, this coin is optional, and both contestants will be given the option to flip. So, if it lands heads, Scrump will give you a point. If it's tails, wah, 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 you'll lose 1. Now be on the lookout. There is a penalty phrase in effect. It could be a sentence, a word, whatever. Or maybe I'm just in a bad mood and decide to punish you. Who knows? Either way, starting right now, you are not safe. So tread lightly. Dragon will be keeping an ear out on any potential wrongdoings, all right?
Yep.
10-4.
And as you all know, there is the wheel of punishment if you do say the word. In which case, the punishment will be randomly selected. With, of course, the personal favorite everyone being Dragon's choice. Alright, so after the main round, we move to the speed round, which those of you in the audience, feel free to submit your own questions. Just be sure to stick around because you'll be the one to choose the winner of that round. First to 5 points wins. And are we clear, everyone?
Clear as we can ever be.
Alrighty then. Now, let's cue the randomizer. Now, as you can see here, we have Pergron and Tiki listed in alphabetical order. Whoever name is on top will go first for the 3 rounds. You guys ready?
Yep.
Alrighty then. Tiki's going first.
All right.
Sounds good to me. Alright. So that brings us to round numero uno. What was the best change or addition featured in the Lilo and Stitch remake? And I can tell you, it was how hard it was to find an image for yours.
Yeah, I bet.
So Tiki, why don't you divulge on what your choice is?
All right, my choice is Stitch's implied death during the climax.
All right, Pergron.
My choice was the neighbor lady / David's mom, Mrs. Kakawa? No, that's the wrong character. Kutu, yeah.
Kakawa's the...
she was the yeah.
Who was played by the original Nani.
Yes. Tutu, yes, that's the one.
Yes. So, all right, so Tiki, opening statement.
All right, so yeah, I really actually think that one of the few things, and I just want to come out here and say, I didn't hate the live-action Lilo and Stitch remake like I thought I did. I thought it was perfectly okay. It's a perfectly watchable little movie, so just give that asterisk here. That being said, I think one of the few things that this movie actually does maybe better than the original is I really, really like the way they handled the climax. Frankly, I don't really think we needed Captain Gontu in here. I kind of agree with the filmmakers that I think his design would have just been a little too over the top. We'll see how it's handled in the sequel. But what I really love about the implied death is I was in the theater and I can tell you guys firsthand, there were little kids actively crying during this moment. I mean, it was very emotionally effective. But I like a lot of elements of this. I like that it kind of brings Nani's arc with Stitch full circle. I like that they actually address in this movie more than they do in the original, just how perilous Stitch going into water can be, which this death does. And honestly, the actress playing Lilo in this movie, I mean, she just goes so hard with her anguish in this moment. And I gotta be honest with you guys, like, as just okay as I think a lot of this movie is, I really think that this moment in particular is just genuinely, like, super effective. It actually got me a little misty-eyed, and I was coming into this thing like the biggest cynic in the world. So yeah, I think this is one of the very few things in the remake that, again, the remake's not awful by any means, but I think it's one of the few things in the remake that it actively takes the climax, which I think is one of the messier parts of the original, and elevates it and makes it more emotionally potent. And that's why I think it's the best edition.
All right. Yeah, I thought that adding in new characters is something that, in my opinion, every remake should be doing. If you're going to remake it, I don't think it should be a shot for shot. I think you should take swings, and I think giving Nani a person that she can confide in and can interact with as kind of Lilo's guardian and allow her to, take advice and stuff. I thought it was a good addition. I thought having an extra character looking out for Lilo was a good addition. And, as controversial as the ending ended up being, I did think that if for a modern remake of a movie, I think that having Lilo go live with trusted family friends is kind of the best option. To be a little more realistic and respectful to people's actual life situations where stuff like this happens. They didn't ship her off to nowhere. They gave her to somebody trusted who shows that they care about Lilo. And, I didn't love this movie. I don't think I've ever loved a live action remake. But at the same time, I thought that, having this extra character, having somebody be able to take part in Lilo's life outside of just Nani was a nice little addition to feature in, and I found her to be the most memorable character in the movie. Outside of Lilo and Stitch, of course.
All right. Sounds good. Fight it out.
Right. I do like the character Pergron. I really do. I think my issue with her is that I don't want to get too into the adoption thing. I feel like that's a really sticky, like, borderline political conversation that I really don't want to, like, dive into. But I do think that on some level she kind of waters down Nani's involvement in the story. And I think most importantly for me, this character makes David borderline unnecessary in the story. And David is the character, and I'll be fighting for David, the original David, in a later debate, but David in this movie is just kind of a nothing burger, and I think one of the big reasons for that is that his character just gets overshadowed by her. So while I do think that, I really think the actress had a good screen presence, she has a good chemistry with Lilo, it makes sense that Lilo would end up with her, I just feel like her presence kind of muddies the waters just a little too much. And I just think that with my edition brings nothing but positive, whereas this, it's a good character, but I mean, even you can admit that, like, wherever you lie on the ending, it's controversial.
Oh, it definitely is. And I think I picked this over, like, I would still pick her over your sequence because, I mean, just a couple things. And maybe this is just me being a movie fan and knowing movies. But it's such a common fake out. We saw it with every character ever, I think. This is, to me, it's no different than Chewbacca's death in The Rise of Skywalker.
How dare you?
It's nothing. It's no different. It is exactly the same. Nobody thought Stitch was going to die. And yeah, maybe it's a little bit emotional in the moment. But at the end of the day, the most we get out of it is a pretty good performance from the actress who played Lilo. But I thought she gave a great performance the entire movie. Like, she is the highlight of the movie. And I don't know that your scene did anything, especially where we already saw Stitch drowning at one point earlier on in the movie. The fact that this is the second time Stitch sinks to the bottom, and this time it's Nani saving him instead of David. And that's kind of it. Like, we all know he's going to wake up. We all know he's going to cough out water. We all know he's going to hug Lilo. And that's not even just because the movie's a remake. It's because it's a movie and I've seen them before. So unless you're 4, I mean, it kind of is just another, like, oh, let's pad the runtime another 3 minutes and add some fake tension. And I think Lilo's performance was good and in that moment, but I don't think that it was necessary. I think you could have had Stitch almost fake dying anyway, and it would have been absolutely no different. You could have had Stitch be taken away, and it would have been no different. We all know that at the end of the day, Stitch is going to end up with Lilo, and so yeah, I mean,
I kind of push back on the whole like, oh, it's irrelevant because we know that Stitch is going to make it. Like, yeah, like, but like I said, Pergron, like I, as a grown ass 35-year-old man, know that the kids in the audience did not.
The kids also didn't know Chewbacca was going to make it back out,
okay,
but then
Chewbacca is an entirely different thing, sir. All right?
No, it's entirely the same.
That is not a fair fucking comparison, dude.
I think it's entirely the same.
But honestly, I'm kind of glad that you bring up Stitch, like the water thing with Stitch, because, like I said, I think one of the things that I actually think is really good about this inclusion is the fact that, like, in the original, we get basically like lip service about like, oh, and Stitch also like he can't go into water, and that's basically just like a plot device that we use, you know, to explain why he can't leave Hawaii. But here it's like we see it multiple times, and like that drowning scene with Lilo where he's pulling Lilo under again. I mean, I honestly think that even that scene is a little bit more effective. I really do think
that would be a better scene for you to have picked than this one.
But that scene is involved in the original, though.
It is, but
I think this scene, like I said, I really don't think that the chase scene in the original movie and the Captain Gantu stuff, like, it's fun, it's fine, it's by no means is it like the highlight of that movie by any stretch. Whereas I really do think that, for me personally, I really do think the implied death was the most emotionally effective moment. Like, I was really caught up in it.
You heard it here first.
Obviously, I wasn't sitting there being like, "Oh my God, Stitch is actually going to die." Obviously not.
That would have been a change.
That would have been wild. But I really, like I said, just having those kids in the audience react as strongly as they did, like, that alone really kind of made that scene worthwhile for me. Like, and honestly, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's one of the few times in a movie-going experience for me where I was like, I'm actually glad that I am in a theater filled with children, because I can actually get the, you know, kind of like the side effects of the emotional potency that this moment is actually going for. And I find a lot of value in that.
See, I find the sequence derivative and kind of whatever. What I found really is as the best change, because, like, if you took that scene out of the movie, nothing would change about the experience. If you take Tutu as a character out of the movie, a lot of stuff would change. Like, she added a lot of charisma. She added a lot of sweet, tender moments between both Nani and Lilo. She really felt like the family friend that is there. She's the neighbor. She's a little bit annoying, but at the end of the day, she's going to have your back. And I think a lot of people have that. And I think it kind of adds to the realism of having especially in Hawaii, they're all native Hawaiian in the story. We're not going to get into the casting. But in the story, they're all native Hawaiian, and that added in a little bit extra of that. Like, we have a tight-knit community. We have to protect each other. We have to take care of each other. And that's something that's very real within that community. And communities around the world. You know, I have neighbors that are like, you know, have been close friends. My best friend growing up was my neighbor. So I think having a character that Nani can bounce off of without really stepping on her toes, I still very much feel like Nani was a character in her own. I thought Nani still had plenty of moments. Like, the Aloha Oi moment is just as prevalent here as it is in the animated movie. but having somebody that Nani can kind of go to and need help with, someone Lilo can trust that isn't her older sister, having that kind of third party, especially because we weren't going to do Jumba and Pleakley the same way that we have.
Can we all agree that Jumba was like the worst
Yes.
thing about the live action remake?
Yeah. But yeah, so I think jeez, fucking Zach Galifianakis needs to just do a voice. Come on, man. It felt like a Between Two Ferns episode. It was ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, I think
Done.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad that was my last statement.
All right.
Yeah, there's a reason why I signaled Dragon after that one. And personally, I think one of the worst additions is actually the new rendition of Burning Love.
Oh, that I can actually sign off on. It is
the new version of it.
The original Winona Judd version is flawless.
Yeah, but who did the new one?
I agree.
And then Bruno Mars's nephews.
Oh no.
Yup.
Oh no, I don't even have to listen. Oh wow. That's down. Oh wow.
Yeah, big downgrade there.
Yeah,
Have you even gotten Bruno Mars?
I know, right?
Yes, I would actually. I would have at least liked to hear his version of it anyway.
Yeah.
And
they changed the lyrics. The rhythm was all off.
That's not good at all. No, I don't like any of that.
I did like Ian Tongi's version of.
Oh, yeah, the Hawaiian roller
coaster ride.
The Hawaiian roller coaster ride sequence was the song was great. Don't get me wrong.
I
Didn't
watched
they bring the kids back for that?
I mean, they didn't bring the same kids.
Well, not I mean, they had like the kids like the same
school
choir, same school.
And fun fact: the choir director is actually the mother of the writer of this movie.
Yeah, I heard something about that. That's
nice.
Yeah.
I watched the whole season of American Idol where he was on it just for him. So I was happy to see him show up here.
All right, so fun fact there, the writer being a native Hawaiian as well.
Yes.
So, all right, I guess I can cast the first point to get tear off the Band-Aid and all that. My point will go to Pergron for this one.
All right.
I didn't hear enough against Tutu.
Fair enough.
Dragon?
Yeah, I kind of went back and forth a little bit because initially I was very pro Tiki.
I mean, strong start. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel Tiki's pick was weaker, but I think his attack was stronger. I think he had a weak defense, but he had a strong offense. And initially, I think it was kind of the inverse, where I think Pergron had, he had a.
Not to mention he got the name wrong at first.
Yeah, that didn't help him. I can't really say the opposite. I should say, I think Pergron as well. I feel Pergron had a strong offense against, the Stitches, kind of, the death fake out, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But again, honestly, I wasn't hearing enough about Tutu, about David's mom. I wasn't hearing enough about her beyond just she's. I honestly, a part of me couldn't hear it over, the point that Tiki made of, this character kind of makes David useless and overshadows him. That was the main thing I heard against him, which honestly, I don't think Tiki necessarily needed to, say much more, because I think he kind of made a very solid point, and Pergron just kept saying the same thing pretty much. She's a neighbor, and it's the Hawaiian sense of community. That's great, isn't it? All warm and fuzzy. And honestly, I think forget being on the fence. You know what? Screw Pergron. I'm just gonna say because he shot himself in the foot. Where he said, "Yeah, she's a little annoying." That didn't help him at all. So you know what? I'm gonna cast the vote for. I'm gonna go back to my original line thing. I'm gonna give the point to Tiki.
No, the character's supposed to be she's the annoying neighbor.
Hey, no, not you.
Don't harass the ref, Pergron. Don't harass the ref.
Well, don't misconstrue my argument.
Okay.
All right, so Rohit, you're the tiebreaker.
All right. Overall, the opening statements were good. I think I appreciated Tiki really emphasizing the drama of the moment.
I do like that, yeah.
But I think the kill shot for me was Pergron saying it's equivalent to Chewbacca's death in The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, come on.
And I feel like Tiki's defense, like, oh, as a grown man, I knew that it was fake, but the kids didn't know that. It's like, well,
I mean, I personally kind of empathize with that.
I feel like with Pergron, his point about Tutu being a character that's, is annoying but is helpful and is a fleshed out, well-rounded character. I think that is something that character, that person, is someone that can be appreciated and like liked by all ages. There's no really qualifiers. Whereas for Tiki's moments, like if you're older than 10 or 12, like that moment,
I was still emotionally affected by it. I just
Hey, don't harass the ref.
Don't harass the ref.
I mean,
I repeat, don't harass the ref.
I mean,
You had your chance, Tiki.
here's the thing, Tiki. I still vote for Pergron, but I completely agree with your point.
All right. It's fine. It's fine, guys.
I think though Pergron's point, even if Dragon says that it's what's going on, I think it is a compelling thing that a character who's brought in to further emphasize that family is not just immediate blood family, but can be neighbors or older folks that can assume uncle aunt roles, was very much in the spirit of the themes of the animated movie and this movie. So I think in terms of what is the best addition, Pergron chose an addition that only reinforced and further emphasized the themes of the movie, which is Ohana meets family, even people that are not directly related to you. So Pergron gets the win.
All right.
We'll play Pergron. Good fight.
Thank
Good
you.
fight.
Yeah, good pick.
That was a strong opener, gentlemen. Not gonna lie. And another fun fact: Tutu was also the lady who played Tutu is the original voice of Mrs. Hasagawa.
Oh, nice.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
Amy Hill.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Really
not
quick, I want to acknowledge some comments here before we move on. Let's see. Kogias, you can have your opinion that Frozen has a better sister dynamic than this movie. I don't necessarily agree, but I respect it.
Well, that's a fair look. It's an argument. I'm not saying it's a right argument, but it's an argument.
I mean, even the director of Lilo and Stitch said that it was still good, but his movie kind of set the template for
Yeah,
it.
that's the thing. I mean, they're both good. I mean, it's
Well, I feel like the sister dynamics are different because there's different stories being told with the sister parents.
Okay.
different age ranges on the sisters, So
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Go on.
let's see. We have Little Blue saying they also had Jumba and Pleakley at the
celebration.
Tomorrowland thing. That's cool.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, we have Slasher Fred saying in the original movie, it was the second movie that the song "Can't Help Falling in Love" was covered. It was also covered by UB440 for the underrated
40.
It's terrible.
Silver.
Yeah.
It was bad.
No, I mean that was like the, if I'm not mistaken, that was the dumb pop song at the end of Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, okay, right.
Remember? And you know what's really funny?
But it was also, but technically it is a cover of an Elvis song, so there.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying, like the gag was like at the so when they did the commentary on Lilo and Stitch, the filmmakers, they did this hilarious thing where they very, you could tell very spitefully they were like glowing about the boy band, as which you can tell they absolutely hated the fact that was like at the end of their movie, but they were like like very tongue-in-cheekly kind of glowing about it. It's really funny.
All right. Kogia says, wasn't David also a nothing character in the original film?
Right.
Kogia, all I can say to that is wait till round 3. I have some arguments against that sentiment. We also have Claude Covers in the comments. Nice to see you again, Claude. It's been a minute. He says, I like how Lilo and Nani had a mother figure in this movie. And he also says, I wonder who will voice the hamster in the sequel. My vote would be John Mulaney.
Ooh,
That would be a good one.
Interesting choice.
I was gonna say Christopher Walken.
Imagine it was Christoph Waltz.
I can see Christoph Waltz.
All
Two
right.
very different hamster.
Guys, we all know who's going to voice the
Chris
hamster.
Pratt.
Jared Leto.
Oh, God.
Don't say that.
Don't
might
go
be
that
worse
into
than my
the
pick.
universe, please. Oh. All right.
Hamster!
Anyways.
Hamster wheel, the wheel.
I'm not hamster-like, I'm hamster-like. Anyway, so Dragon, did you hear anything?
I heard a lot of things, Jacob, but I did not hear any specific phrases we should be terrified of.
So you heard the things, but not the things.
Yeah, I heard many things, but not that.
Okay, works for me. All right, so are you boys ready for round 2?
Yes.
Let's do it.
That brings us to which Disney attraction should Stitch take over? Tiki.
All right, I'm doing Pirates of the Caribbean, specifically the Magic Kingdom version.
And Pergron.
I am doing Space Mountain, specifically the Magic Kingdom version.
All right. Tiki, opening statement when you're ready.
Yeah, so everyone knows that Pirates of the Caribbean in Florida is basically like a watered-down version of the one at Disneyland. My answer to that is, why don't we do exactly what we did with Tower of Terror at California Adventure, turning it into Guardians of the Galaxy, and just have fun with it, man. There is a whole ass Lorcana series that involves Stitch being a pirate. Stitch as a pirate is a Lorcana card. That's not the only reason I picked this, but I do think that it just fits. I love the idea of like basically there being some sort of time travel shenanigans. Can you imagine Jumba and Pleakley trying to blend in with the pirates but doing a terrible job? Could you imagine Captain Gantu leading the auction? There'd be a lot of hidden Stitch animatronics, I just think it would be a lot of fun. Basically, the whole premise would be that Stitch gets into some time travel shenanigans. Jumba and Pleakley have to go into the Caribbean times to retrieve him. And we could just go from there. And I just think it'd be a blast, and I think it would elevate the Walt Disney World version of Pirates to the point where I personally think that Cosmic Rewind maybe not significantly better than the original Tower of Terror in Florida, but I kind of prefer it. And I kind of feel like the same sentiment might be here. Like, it's hard to replace the original Disneyland version of Pirates, but I think this concept just leads to a lot of creativity. I think that Stitch just naturally has like pirate-like elements to his character. I think it'd be a really fun time.
All right, Pergron.
So Disneyland has zero qualms about overlaying their Space Mountain. They've done it so many times, and I think it's time that comes to the Magic Kingdom. And what better way to update Tomorrowland and a ride that desperately needs some love and attention than by taking Stitch and adding him to the beloved attraction Space Mountain. Very easily, you can overlay this in some sort of red police cruiser type escape where projected over the walls, you have a thrilling chase and you are careening through space, through the dark, as the police chase is going on at the beginning of Lilo and Stitch. It fits thematically because Stitch has already been present in Tomorrowland, where his attraction was taken away. You could retrofit and refurbish that Stitch animatronic and have it in the queue or towards the exit where like the Horizons type future stuff used to be, or is, where the walkway that moved used to be. And I think Stitch just thematically fits. It would be a great way to update an attraction. And the herky-jerkiness of Magic Kingdom Space Mountain just would add to the thrill of careening through space in a really dangerous police chase.
All right. Fight.
So I honestly think the fact that you mentioned that Space Mountain has been retrofitted so many times is kind of a point against you. I hear what you're pitching here, and it's like, it just sounds like another version of Hyperspace Mountain, but with Stitch instead of Star Wars. And
yeah, but we never got Hyperspace Mountain in the East Coast.
Yeah, well, you know what we never got, period? A full-blown overlay of Pirates of the Caribbean.
An alien that can't go into the water playing pirate in the Caribbean and island system surrounded by water.
I mean, Stitch is used to being around islands. Just because he can't be in the water doesn't mean like Stitch is very well.
Yeah, but
He's got a lot of experience with island life.
he's not exactly known for going on ships and raiding them, and
He's known for going on spaceships. I don't know. I look, and also like we kind of have like the Treasure Planet sort of upside here, where I just think that this is such a fun idea, and with Space Mountain, frankly, there's not a lot that you can really do with Space Mountain thematically. Like you can change up the lighting, you can have some projections in there, you can do some stuff with the queue. With Pirates, there's so much. I mean, look at what Disneyland does with Haunted Mansion Holiday and how much they changed that up. And I really think that and again, I would not touch the Disneyland version with Stitch. I would not do that. I would not dare do that. But the Disney World version has always lived in Anaheim Shadow, and I really think that it'd be a smart move, especially because Stitch kind of does have a legacy in this park, to do something like this. I think maybe would it cause some kind of controversy? Yeah, sure. I think it probably caused the same level of controversy as Mission Breakout did when that first got released. But the thing with Mission Breakout is, even if you don't agree with me that it's like almost on par with the original Tower of Terror, you've got to admit that it's at the very least a better attraction than the California Adventure version of Tower of Terror. And for me, it's just because this Pirates of the Caribbean is already so much of a downside compared to Disneyland. It's not a bad attraction. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy going on it. It's obviously the weaker of the two. There's really nothing to do but go up when it comes to like adding to it. And like I said, I just think the pirate atmosphere, like, you can poke plot holes in the whole, like, oh, you can't be around water all you want. But to me, that's just silly. Like I said, because he's in Hawaii. Just switch Hawaii with the Caribbean.
I think kind of just to use the Disney argument of it all, Disney World's like the once in a lifetime vacation place. So touching pirates, like probably the single most famous attraction at Disney, I would argue, up there at least, and retrofitting it in a way that doesn't honor the original, even if it is a slightly worse version. I've not been to Disneyland, so I can't confirm or deny. I feel like it's sacrilege. I feel like putting Stitch in such a classic attraction would get the defunct land and offhand Disney crowds raging. They would be so angry about this. And I think a lot of people traveling across the world or across the country for their once in a lifetime family vacation, and then all of a sudden Stitch replaced Captain Jack Sparrow, I feel like they wouldn't be super chill about that. Meanwhile, Space Mountain, while a beloved attraction and a name in and of itself, it's kind of just a spaceship roller coaster in the dark. So you can do a lot more with that and not take away from the overall experience the way that I feel like Stitch in a realistic pirate setting would. Like, I can't imagine having like an animatronic Stitch pop out of the barrel in the same way that Jack Sparrow does. It would take so much away from that experience. If you were going to do Stitch pirates, I feel like you'd have to change pirates to be like alien pirates. Like, Stitch just doesn't fit into that overall world that they've already built in there. I mean, people are still mad about Jack Sparrow being in there, and he's like in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So I just can't see a world in which people are like really cool with Stitch being in there, and I feel like it is a jarring fit. Like, just inserting aliens into the auction scene, inserting Jumba on the ship fighting the Spanish. I just feel like that's a really weird choice.
I never said anything about that. I mean, come on now. Look, I mean, honestly, Pergron, for me, part of the appeal of this whole thing is that contrast, is the wacky, like, you've got the high-tech aliens contrasted against the iconic, like, Mark Davis pirates. I just think that's a really wacky premise, and I think we could do a lot with it. And like I said, if this was the Disneyland version, that'd be one thing. You raise a decent point about Florida being much more tourist-driven, but honestly, like, Stitch is one of the most iconic characters in all. At this point, Stitch is probably a bigger mascot for Disney than Mickey Mouse is. So I feel like Disney is probably going to want to put a bigger presence of Stitch into the theme parks to begin with. And I don't know, with Space Mountain, again, I just feel like how underwhelming stuff like Hyperspace Mountain has been over the years. You know, the fact that Paris is stuck with Hyperspace Mountain. I just don't see, like, I think your issue is the fact that my thing would change it too much, but my issue with your idea is that I just don't really see the vision for it. I just don't really see exactly what you can do besides like adding a couple props here and there, a couple projections. Whereas with my idea, I think you can go as crazy with it as you want. You can scale back when you need to.
You can make the loading sequence of Spaceship Earth, Space Mountain. That would be an interesting one. You could do Space Mountain and have it be you are going out to intercept this galactic fugitive. You can add a storyline to a ride that currently doesn't really have.
Yeah, you add a storyline to Hyperspace Mountain. That still doesn't make it a great attraction.
People seem to love Hyperspace Mountain, except in Paris. But in Paris,
I don't know about that.
They had a super unique Space Mountain. In Florida, Space Mountain needs love. It needs attention. Pirates of the Caribbean does not need attention. If anything, it needs to be left the hell alone.
Okay, if anything, I would. Okay.
All right. Sorry if there was more points to be made, but
I want to make the point that I was about to make, but I'll just because I feel like it's a solid argument. But I'll let you deliberate first and award the point.
All right. I'll just get straight to it then. My point goes to Tiki.
All right.
I'll let Rohit go this time.
Yeah, after thinking back and forth, point goes to Pergron.
All right, Dragon tiebreaker.
Pergron.
All right. That brings Pergron to 2. And Tiki nothing. So what would the last point have been, Tiki?
Oh, let's see. The last point that I would have made is essentially that Pirates also really needs attention specifically because of, the fact that we've got all the Johnny Depp stuff in there, and I feel like we really need to revamp it. We could bring it back to classic Coke Pirates of the Caribbean, which is what I want to do, but I don't know.
And I don't think that would have won you any points from Dragon and Rohit, but I wanted to get your last piece in there just to be safe.
I don't like. Can I just ask why? I'm not bitter, but I just want to know, like, why? Because I really feel like I had a solid argument there.
No, I mean, I'm just saying. I guess I'm just saying. I voted for.
No, I'm asking Dragon and Pergron or Dragon and Rohit.
Yeah, I voted for myself because I thought I had a better argument.
All right. Well, look, fundamentally, I think Pergron had a really good sell for Space Mountain. I really do. I know it wasn't the entire reason, but I really did love. I loved his water point. I thought it was really funny in the delivery. But no seriousness. Look, I think he had a really good sell. There's a lot of foundation for why Stitch would work for Space Mountain because in Tomorrowland, Stitch's history there. Again, there's a space theme. The main thing I was hearing from yours, Tiki, was you're going to play. It sounded like you were going to play a little time travel with it at the start there. I didn't really hear the treasure planet thing until too late in. I don't think he really leaned into it.
I didn't really know what to say with the treasure planet thing. Was more like I wasn't obviously going to tie it into the treasure planet IP. It was more kind of like proof that the aesthetic of Treasure Planet could work.
Well, yeah, but it was you were kind of laying out seemingly two different arguments there, where it's like Stitch either taking over or it's we're throwing him in time, so it makes sense somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I think on my part, I think you had an interesting point about the Lark. There's like a series where like Stitch is a pirate and all that, and I felt like you kind of just didn't emphasize enough the novelty of, at least to me, that of Stitch being a pirate, and maybe you could have had like some of the characters from Lilo and Stitch be part of that pirate world or whatever. And I think with Space Mountain, like Stitch is a sci-fi character, so there's some logical. I think if you hadn't emphasized more the novelty of like Stitch and like and just also the other characters that like world of Lilo and Stitch with the pirate, ride, I think there would have been more of a interesting point of novelty or some combination of ingredients that weren't ever combined before.
Okay, well, I'm really sorry, guys. I genuinely suck. I'm sorry.
No, you're doing great.
No, I'm not. I'm fucking flopping, but whatever.
All right, let's Dragon. Any word?
Not yet.
All right, let's move on to round 3. Who is the best side character in Lilo and Stitch besides Nani? Tiki.
I have David.
All right. Pergron.
I got my boy, Agent Wendy Pleakley.
All right. Tiki, opening statement for David.
Okay, so yeah, first of all, god damn you, Kogias. Like, why did you have to put... Can we just please, like, not have Kogias's little comment about David be a factor here, please? Because, like, I feel like that just really shot me in the knee right off the bat with this question.
All right, we won't take it into consideration.
Okay, my argument for David is the ultimate everyman. And for a series that's as weird as Lilo and Stitch, where even the human characters are weird, Lilo is weird. Nani, maybe not weird, but at the very least, like, very high-strung and a little bit eccentric herself. You've got a guy named Cobra frickin' Bubbles. So, just an average, nice, humble guy with the most average name ever, David. There's something about him that just adds a lot of intrinsic value to the franchise, I think. I think with David, you've got someone who can just kind of, like, he's the ultimate straight man, I think. He's like, I think a lot of the best bits of humor in the original movie really do come down to him just kind of like reacting to the situation around him. And then if you even go further into the franchise, the live action remake notwithstanding, because David was kind of a non-factor in the live action remake. But, like, I think David's got a lot of, like, really, really great bits within the Lilo and Stitch series. I love his subplot in Stitch Has a Glitch, although that subplot also very much involves Pleakley, so I've got to give credit where credit's due there. But I think David is a big part of that. I don't know. He's just, like, again, he's not the most complex character in the world, but I feel like he is the ingredient in this franchise that really kind of makes it all come together. And I really think the franchise would be lesser without him.
All right. Pergron, your boy Pleakley.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a man here who is so confident in himself and his presence and everything that he dresses up. He is a gay icon. This is Pride Month, right? Full on drag queen kind of character, right? But seriously though, he is an iconic character. If you look at Lilo and Stitch and you go, besides Stitch, who is probably the single most iconic character when you think about like visual appeal, I would say Pleakley's probably ahead of Jumba. He's an iconic character. He has a very iconic voice. Anytime I ever heard that voice actor in anything else, I'd be like, that's Pleakley, yo. I said that exactly. Same cadence and everything. He is a conservationist hero. He wants to protect mosquitoes, which are an endangered species. He uses a viewfinder. It's iconic. He's an icon. He's hilarious. He is the heart, the charm, and the humor of Lilo and Stitch all together. He is able to encapsulate all of those emotions. Yeah, he's just kind of a perfect being, and I love him, and I hope nothing bad ever happens to him.
All right, duke it out.
All right, so my argument against Pleakley is, like, Pleakley is definitely, I think out of the two of them, it's fair to say Pleakley's the more popular character, and I will concede to that. That being said, I think, honestly, Pleakley is mostly just popular for the memes. I mean, you've got the educate yourself, which I'll admit is iconic. He is kind of like a gay icon, which is great. But I really do think that when you break him down on a character level, he really is just kind of like obnoxious sidekick. Like, I really do think, like, us Disney fans, we can tolerate him. I feel like people that aren't into animated movies aren't going to get sold on animated movies by his presence. I feel like his presence is going to be one of the big detriments. I feel like if you're not already on board with his style of humor, it's going to be really grating. His voice can be grating. Whereas David is such an affable character that I really can't see anyone looking at David and being like, "Oh no, I don't like this guy." Whereas Pleakley, I could see Pleakley annoying people. David doesn't have the iconic memes or the quotes or anything like that, but I feel like if you just had Jumba as the only alien chasing Stitch, not all that much would actually change from the plot, honestly. But if you take out David, you really do miss that everyman element that I really do feel is just pivotal. Because, like I said, even the human characters in this franchise are weird besides him. David is kind of the glue that grounds the entire franchise to a sense of reality. And I think that's just so important.
I want to go back to something you said. I actually think that if Jumbo was the only alien chasing Stitch, it would be a really lesser movie. Pleakley is, in story, the reason Jumbo doesn't just go full scorched earth on the entire island of Hawaii trying to get his character. Pleakley understands humanity, for I guess lack of a better term. He is the reason that Jumba is the character we love so much. If Pleakley wasn't around, Jumba would be like, I don't know, Jumba in the live action remake. He would be just this villainous monster who has no heart or charm or anything. I think the fact that Pleakley makes Jumba a better character, it makes him such a strong character. He is not just, it's Pleakley, it's Jumba and Pleakley, and it's because of Pleakley's presence that we get that. David's a great boyfriend. Like, trust me, out of every animated, like, couple, I would agree that David's probably, like, the one. Like, I'm a straight guy. And
Here's the thing with that is that I respect David so much on the basis that, like, even when Nani is, like, entirely unavailable, he's cool with it. He's cool just being a support for the family. He isn't just looking for the romance of it all. And that's one of the things that I really, really respect about him as a character.
Oh, and I think he's a great person. But he really isn't that interesting character. Like, when I was a kid, I had Lilo and Stitch, like, movie scene moments on the wall. And I had the moment where Stitch, Nani, and Lilo are on the surfboard. I had the moment where Jumba and Pleakley were peeking through the bush. I had the moment where Gantu was capturing Lilo. I didn't have a single David on my wall. Like, it's just I don't want to use Code Geass's thing, I promise. I'm not doing this on purpose. But he's kind of a nothing burger of a character when he's kind of not that memorable outside of, like, big fans. Like, if you show a rando Lilo and Stitch for the first time, they're not going to really remember David. He's a good person. I would never argue that he's a bad person, but Pleakley is the character that's going to stand out. He's the character that he's a little over the top, but so isn't every character. Even fucking Myrtle is over the top.
But that proves my point with the human characters, though. If you don't have David around, you literally don't have anyone grounding the human characters into any sense of reality. I really feel that.
I don't know that you need. I think Cobra Bubbles does that a decent enough job in the movie.
His name is Cobra fucking Bubbles.
Okay, I think we got it. Okay.
All right.
You think that's a stage name?
Well, we know that he may or may not have killed someone. Did you ever kill anyone?
Oh, God.
We're getting off the subject.
Let's talk about you.
Now, honestly, I probably should have went with Cobra Bubbles over David as my pick here.
Well, maybe not Tiki, because because I'm personally on your corner on this one. David is kind of like he doesn't stand out, but you kind of do need that everyman to reinforce the whole more mellow nature this movie has when it has it.
All right. I mean, I've got to admit, this was like by far the question I was the least confident on. So I'll take it, Jacob. I'll take it. I appreciate it.
To make my judge on this, I think it's interesting the characters you both pick because they both represent sort of comedic archetypes. With Bleakley, you have sort of the like over the top, effeminate gay icon. And it's interesting, Tiki, your arguments against Bleakley because it's like I don't think you had this in mind, but I just kind of thought the way you argue about Bleakley, it's like, God, Bleakley just kind of feels like Chris Tucker's character from The Fifth Element, the way he
a little bit.
And I think of it, and I think with that, it's like, I think when we talk about like the best side character, I think Tiki really made a good point about how you need someone to ground, the character's humanity, because without David, it's just sort of like Hawaii just becomes sort of an attraction of weirdos. Mm-hmm. And I think the point of the movie is that like, hey, Hawaii can be weird and out there with its aliens, but there is sort of the average common man who kind of is there to react, and David doesn't judge or whatever. He's sort of like an audience like point of view, and that makes sort of the film cohesive and the comedy just not feel like out of place. And I think with Bleakley, it's like if you have more of him in the movie can get really annoying and grating. Yeah. Right? With David, whichever scene, it just becomes funny because he's just a normal dude reacting to the chaos of the movie, and him being just a regular guy, helps to make Nani, feel like she has something outside just having to take care of Lilo. So my vote goes to you, Tiki, for David.
And not to mention, like, he keeps a cool head the entire time.
Yep.
But okay, Dragon. Not that it really matters, but who are you going for?
My vote would have been for Pergron.
All right, but it doesn't matter because Tiki gets the point.
Yeah, he's on the board,
and I think it's a point well earned.
Yeah,
thank you. And I apologize for I don't know, for some reason I just really thought I had that. I was very confident in that Pirates of the Caribbean thing.
That was very unprofessional.
It was kind of disappointing, but
all right, but let's not dwell on it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the past. We moved on, and now we're on the board. Let's address some of the comments. Like even though I ran it on David, I would still put him above Bleakley. Bleakley's kind of annoying.
Don't you dare, Cody.
I am genuinely surprised by Kogias's comment because, not to put Kogias in a box or anything, but I think for characters that are typically a little bit out there in the humor, I feel like Kogias could appreciate that, but all power to Kogias.
I like both David and Bleakley, but don't get me wrong, I like them both. I personally probably would go.
Also, it's funny you respectively. Pergron chose the personification of the internet gay best friend, and then Tiki chose the personification of the internet boyfriend.
Yep.
This is truly a Tumblr debate.
I like how
it was.
And it is kind of interesting that in the remake they turned Bleakley into more of an Earth fanboy than the expert. Especially since they turned the whole mosquitoes thing into kind of just a throwaway line.
Yeah.
I like how neither of us even debated Jumbo.
I'm really shocked that nobody picked Jumbo.
I should have gone with Cobra Bubbles.
Imagine Jumbo versus Cobra Bubbles. That would have been something.
Or honestly, you could make an underrated pick with the alien lady, who's the head diplomatic woman.
The Grand Council woman.
Yeah, the Grand Council.
You could remember Grand Council woman.
Mrs.
She's got a good design, but she's not really that.
Yeah.
She doesn't really have much of a personality.
She's the one who sends Stitch and then sends Gantu on his way to, and then she has 3 big scenes, and then that's about it. And she only appears once or twice across the series and the subsequent movies.
Mm-hmm. So I want to redo that debate, and I want to pick the ice cream guy.
What's funny about that? Literally, the day that I saw the live-action remake, I found out that the guy who played that character in the original movie had died.
Yeah. No, it was the one who played him in the live-action.
Yeah, live-action one. Too.
Yeah.
I thought for a second when you were going, you would have said like, "Oh, he turned out to be like a criminal or went to jail, or whatever." It's like, oh
No, just dead, Rohit. Just dead.
no, man.
Yeah, it's kind of, and technically he's not the ice cream guy in the new one. He's the shaved ice guy.
Which is
That's
dumb.
true. That's true. Which honestly is definitely a more realistic.
He's got one defining trait, and they come on.
What shaved ice is that? Is hey, don't hate on shaved ice.
No,
It's
there's nothing wrong with it. I love
I
shaved
prefer
ice. I'm just
shaved
saying,
ice
he's
to
like
ice
literally
cream.
of all the things that change, it's like
I mean,
his
shaved
one
ice
defining.
is more appropriate for Hawaiian.
It is. It's more. Yeah.
They also took him from
Hopefully
being like
accurate.
a fat white tourist to a fat white Polynesian guy.
more culturally appropriate.
Yep. All right, so
Really quick, Code Gios says, I know that Nani's name isn't titled, but is she really a side character? No, she's not, and she was not eligible for this question.
Yeah, she's very principled.
I mean,
Otherwise-
I think it was more like to set a parameter rather than like label as a side character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, like because so they don't just like choose characters besides Lilo and Stitch.
Well, as I'm saying, we can't use the title character, so therefore everyone else is a supporting character. That's kind of the logic.
Except Nani, obviously.
Yeah, there were no
Neither
wrong
of us-
answers besides Myrtle.
Neither of us chose the right answer.
Oh, could you imagine if someone tried to do Myrtle?
Myrtle can be arguably the best side character because side character that instantly makes you hate her on sight. Like they
Well,
did. That's like, I mean, if it's written that way, that's a good.
I mean, remember I did kind of when we did the Charlie Brown debate, I did argue Lucy being like one of the best side
Okay,
characters.
Myrtle and Luke, come on, watch your mouth, Jacob.
But what I'm
She's such a better character than Myrtle. Come on now.
Let me explain. Let me explain my point. What I'm
Lucy
saying is
Van
like,
Pelt is iconic.
he's like, well, no, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is like she is kind of a bully-esque character to Charlie Brown kind of thing. Like, and I said just because she's like that doesn't necessarily mean she's a bad character. I'm saying Myrtle doesn't necessarily fit into that mold. I'm just saying the argument could be made.
Okay,
But I'm not saying
Lucy
that.
has like way more depth than Myrtle does.
I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying an argument could be done in that kind of
All right, fair
manner.
enough.
Late but people's champ, baby, let's go. and I did forget to show the banner, but here's that.
Right.
Pergron's one fan showed up.
That's the people whom I'm the champ for.
All right, so
People singular.
the
Person
dragon,
champ doesn't have quite the ring to it.
The person's champ.
the person's champ. So, Dragon, did you hear the secret words?
No. Unfortunately, no.
Aw,
Yeah, they don't get to suffer.
dang it. Dang it, I want to see them suffer.
I sharpen my pitchforks and everything.
I will say before we get to the speed round, Pergron, in the first question when you were saying like, oh, about Tiki's answer for Stitch drowning, you're saying, well, I made no movies, and I'm a movie fan. Man, if you said if I was in that debate, I would have jumped on your throat on that comment. That's a very film Twitter ass comment. Just saying.
I'm the
Well, to
president.
be fair, Pergron is a very film Twitter ass person.
I am the king of film Twitter.
You are basically the internet's embodiment of film Twitter.
If Letterboxd was a person.
I'm the president of the Pergron fan club. We only have one member.
It was a heck of an election, though.
What?
We have LEB nominated herself.
There was a lot of campaigning. It was a mudslide victory, but it took a lot to get there.
Ellie voted.
Shockingly not uncontested.
Yep, Ellie nominated herself, voted for herself, and competed against herself.
Link Hogthorpe was there.
Yep.
God.
But he he scared away the voter turnout, though.
Yeah,
All right. So So, how about the coin? You guys ready for the coin? I don't know why I said that weirdly, but
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready for it. That doesn't mean I'm going to flip it.
all right. Here we go. Like, Tiki, since you won, will you flip the coin?
No, I'm not giving up my 1 point.
All right. Pergron.
I would have done it if Tiki did, but no.
All right, let's flip it for posterity's sake.
Let's see
All
what
right.
would have happened. You fool, Tiki.
All right, and now since Pergron said he would have done it, let's see what would have happened to him if he had gone. Hey!
Oh man.
You would have so worked in your favor had you flipped.
Oh well.
Well, that's
You
why
would have been in the lead.
that's why
I'm not a gambling man.
well, that's why it's called a gamble.
Yep.
All right, folks. So that brings us to the speed round. So as we all know, 30-second opening, 15-second rebuttal. We are allowing audience questions, and considering that LEB's not LEB's, but Code Geass's question is similar to one of the ones I suggested. Why don't we start with that, Dragon? What do you think?
I'm not familiar enough with
Well,
the
no,
series.
it's Code Geass. Wait, did we not? Wait, which one, Jake? Did you say Code Geass or LEB's question?
I meant to say Code Geass, but it came with LEB first. But I meant Code Geass's one.
Yeah,
I'm down
that's
with Code Geass's one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because it's actually one of the same ones I actually came up with. So let's go with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The question is, who would you cast as Gantu in a sequel to the remake?
Michael Rooker.
Ooh.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Larry Fish.
Don't you mean Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah, I think he means Cowboy Curtis. All right, so Tiki, when you're ready.
Okay. So Pergron, my issue with Lawrence Fishburne is honestly that it's very, very similar to Kevin Michael Richardson. And why I went with Michael Rooker is that it'd be a different performance. It'd be a different take on the character. I don't think that Gantu is the type of character where you need to be like 100% loyal. I think having this kind of like Southern bounty hunter style character who is a literal like shark, I don't know. I just think it'd be a really interesting twist on the character.
Pergron, when you're ready.
I think Michael Rooker, Jesus Christ, is just a little too goofy. Like we've only seen him in like kind of higher pitch. I don't know. I just don't feel like he fits the Gantu role. Where Lawrence Fishburne has that deeper, more stoic, more serious voice. It is similar, I'll give you that. But I think it really fits Gantu. And I think he can bring it out. He's an Academy Award nominated actor, and he can give a really strong performance.
First of all, if you don't think that Michael Rooker can be menacing, you clearly haven't seen all of the Michael Rooker performances. I mean, that guy is like an iconic villain character actor. Second of all, I think the only thing you need to do is make his design a little bit more lean, a little less bulky, still have it be Gantu, and there you go. I think it would fit.
I feel like after the critiques of Lilo and Stitch 1, I feel like Disney's just going to go the really safe route and cast somebody who feels adjacent to the original, but also kind of can bring their own thing to it. And I think Lawrence Fishburne fits that.
All right, Code Geass, I'll let you choose the winner of that round.
While we wait, despite being the embodiment of Letterboxd, as I said, I am so bad at fan casting, man. I hate fan casting so much.
You know who I would have picked?
Who?
Kevin Michael Richardson.
Just do him again?
Yeah, you know why? Because it was just upsetting to me that, you know what, why can't we let Kevin Michael Richardson be on the big screen? Okay, why can't we let the voice actor actually have a title role? It's not like he needs to audition for the role.
Right.
Well,
I mean, it worked well for Stitch. Why don't we do it again? We saw how bad it went with Galifianakis. Let's get the action.
I mean, I think that Kevin Michael Richards, it would definitely be better than like James Earl Jones coming back as an old man to do Mufasa.
Yeah, let's
and there's
professional.
and while there also is an obvious reason why they couldn't go.
See, Code Geass has made his decision.
I'm just saying there is a reason why they can't go with Jumbo's original actor.
Well, I know that. That's a good reason. I'm
not saying the choice was good. I'm just saying there's a reason.
I would have personally fan cast Keith David. I think he.
Oh, that's solid. That's solid.
Keith David is a good choice.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that. I do appreciate the Tiki thinking outside the box with Michael Rooker, though.
I honestly I could see. Yeah, for the shark design, I could see it be more like a hammerhead shark.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
like a thresher.
I need please highlight Ellie B's comment because I think we all need to see it.
Oh, sorry. No, not.
Oh, dang it!
We keep doing it at the same time.
Hey, Gantu just went on the paleo diet.
Let's see. I was gonna say.
This reminds me of the running gag from the Lilo and Stitch series. I'm not fat.
There you go. There you go. You can base it off.
They could also go with the whole like I am from the planet of the I'm just Samoan.
I'm Samoan.
Claude, I got to push back against Giancarlo just because I am very, very sick of Giancarlo playing villains. All he ever does is play Gus Fring. I want him to do a more lighthearted role. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. Give me Giancarlo Esposito in like a romantic comedy. That's what I want to see that man do.
I'm gonna throw something out.
And before you
have Giancarlo as the lead in a stoner comedy.
Well,
that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Have him in Spaceballs too.
Dragon, before you get to your point, I'll say, Giancarlo was actually kind of a heroic character in Jungle Book. He didn't last long, but he was heroic. But he was a good guy there.
I genuinely forgot that he was even in that movie.
Oh,
he was a key. He was a Keela in that movie.
Yeah, he was great in that movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. You Jungle Book. Yeah, no, Jungle Book. I thought you said Jungle Cruise.
I also thought you said Jungle Cruise.
No. He was good in Jungle Book. I'll give you that. But that was before literally every role he took was with Gus Fring.
I know, but I'm just saying. I know, and you do have a point there. But I'm just saying, technically.
No, he was really good in the Jungle Book. I'll admit that. I'll totally sign off on that.
And Dragon, what was your point going to be?
Okay, so first off, yes, Giancarlo, this guy's got range. We need to show it off.
Yeah.
Secondly,
let him play any character that isn't budget Gus. Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
I mean, the closest we got to that is probably Moff Gideon. But even then,
no, come on, that's totally budget Gus.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say budget. I'd say more space Gus.
Yeah, it's space Gus.
It's still a riff on the Gus Fring archetype.
Yeah, but it's a good take nonetheless.
Is Sidewinder from Captain America: Brave New World a budget Gus?
Yeah, that's actually
that kind of
bad one. Yeah,
he was budget Gus in fucking Megalopolis. He's just budget Gus in everything.
Well, to be fair, everybody was budget everything in that movie.
Megalopolis is a fantastic failure.
I don't think Shia LaBeouf was budget anything in that.
Shia LaBeouf was just Shia LaBeouf. I don't think that
Shia LaBeouf was probably Shia LaBeouf was budget Shia LaBeouf in that movie.
Right.
You know, recently, I don't know if it's still current, but Megalopolis was only available on airplanes.
Are you? Oh my god!
It was not available.
Now I know what movie I am going to fucking watch on my flight to Florida in December.
Was it in Tubi?
What?
Megalopolis.
What about it?
No, it wasn't even on Tubi. It was just on airplanes. You could just...
I think it's changed since, but it was literally only available on airplanes.
Which airline?
I don't know, like JetBlue or whatever.
Probably Southwest.
Granted, I'm still convinced that the George Clooney, Brad Pitt movie Wolves from last year would be the perfect airplane movie.
I think, yeah.
It's like something fun that's entertaining, but you don't really have to pay that much attention to. Anyways.
Dragon, did you have any other point to make?
Well, yeah, I don't think anyone cares at this point, but you know.
All right. What is it?
What are your thoughts on Giancarlo Esposito in the film Megalopolis?
All right, let the man get to his point.
Yeah, my point was I don't think he's earned it, but I could see a part because he's played this sort of role before, and I think he technically is Samoan. The Rock is Gantu. I could buy that cast.
Oh, I could kind of do that.
Or if it's literally the name Samoa Joe.
Yeah. I'm pretty,
I mean,
pretty
that's
sure.
more as a.
I mean, if anything else, I like as
mean,
much as Black Adam flopped, I would like to see The Rock take on more villain roles. And Black Adam, like I still haven't seen that movie, but from what I understand about it, he isn't much of a villain in that.
It's very it's disappointing.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Samoa Joe thing is mostly as a joke, mainly because of his name.
Yeah.
Black Adam is really mid Adam.
God.
All right, so Dragon, have you heard any of the words yet?
No, not yet, which is concerning.
When if it gets to a certain point, I might just throw in the wheel
I
anyway.
honestly was kind of worried that Cobra Bubbles would be one of the words. I'm not gonna lie.
Unfortunately, it's not.
In hindsight, it should have been, but no.
Yeah.
But like I said, who knows? Maybe I'll just do the thing where I said in the beginning and be like, meh, I just feel like punching one of you guys.
That's true. He does have the power.
You know what? I'm gonna atone for my little mini outburst. You guys punish me.
I mean, are you sure?
No, what?
No, don't ask if he's sure. Just punch.
Yeah, I'm sure. I feel like I deserve it at this point.
Yeah, no, he deserves it. Doesn't do it, Jacob. Just
Oh,
bring
we're
him
not
in.
doing any self-flagellation.
Like I got a little in my own head about like I thought I had that question in the bag. I didn't. I responded poorly. So yeah, punish me.
He had a tantrum. Put him in timeout.
Hold on. If any punishment we can think of, let's wait until the end. Let's see how things play out.
I'm literally just doing this to like win back some brownie points with you guys.
I mean, I don't think that's entirely necessary. To be
All
honest.
right.
Fine.
I mean, but we'll put a pin in it.
Okay.
And now I think we've gone on enough tangents. Let's move on to a speed round question. Dragon, what well should we dig from this time?
Well, I mean, we should probably get Muppets in there, right?
Yeah, Muppets. We do need to get the mandatory Muppet question out of the way.
R.I.P. Muppet Vision.
R.I.P. Muppet Vision.
R.I.P.
So, or LAB just says punish them both.
No, Pergron doesn't deserve it. He's fine.
Well, if he says
Weird Al is Dr. Hamsterville, yeah, that would work. I could see that. I could see that.
Like,
Weird Al is Gant.
Oh my God.
well, he has played villains before. He did play Darkseid once.
Weird Al wouldn't need to be CG though. He just play.
Give him a fin.
He would just wear like a cheap gerbil suit.
I mean, we've seen him play Daniel Radcliffe flawlessly.
Honestly, an outside their pick, Charlotte Copley as Dr. Hamsterville would be interesting, especially with a full South African accent.
All right. Okay, so let's do the Dragon. You want to give the honors of saying the Muppet question?
All right. Which Muppet? Beloved Jim Henson Creations. Which?
Thank you for
Muppet?
clarifying that.
Yes. I know you're slipping lately, Tiki. I just wanted to make sure you can follow along.
Dick Grayson.
It's like, oh, hey, by the way, the Muppets were created by Jim Henson.
Yes. And Tiki, so DG, that's Dick Grayson, okay? Anyway, so which Muppet should be revealed to actually be an experiment created by Jumbo?
Gonzo. Obviously.
All right, Tika says Gonzo.
Link hog throw.
Oh my God.
If anyone were shocked.
Well, do you know something funny? Dragon, it's okay if I reveal like my idea.
Okay.
Like the funny thing is, if Pergron had said the word by this point, the punishment would be for the Muppet question. He would have to choose Link Hog Throbs, and so he chose it anyway. So kind of worked out. All right, so Tiki, when you're ready.
I honestly think this choice is maybe too obvious, but like, what else is it gonna be? Like, Gonzo literally has the same kind of design that would fit well as one of Jumba's experiments. And again, we still don't canonically really know his origin, besides the one thing we know of him is that he did come from space. Maybe the whole Gonzo weird thing was all Jumba creations. Ugh, wording on that got blurred a little. I apologize for that last bit.
It's all good. Pergron, when you're ready.
Jumba's experiments are always there for the sole purpose of wreaking havoc and causing destruction. What has wreaked more havoc on my individual life than Link fucking Hogthrob? He is always there to create chaos, cause fear, create these horrible experiences in really minorly inconvenient ways. They're never anything like world destroying, but they are, bad haircut or spicy chili dog or whatever. And Link Hogthrob, nightmare film.
Tiki, 15 seconds.
I mean, frankly, Pergron, this sounds like way more of a you problem, bro. Gonzo, I feel like much like Stitch, he's a big daredevil at heart, but he's also got a big heart and a soft soul to boot. If that's not a 626 experiment, I don't know what is.
Yeah, but what would Gonzo's destructive capabilities be? Why would Jumba create him? Even Ruben had a reason for existing. He just turned to love sandwiches. Link Hogthrob would be there to terrorize people, and it's a minor inconvenience, and that's perfect for what Jumba does.
All right, Dragon, I'll let you choose this one.
I'm gonna say point goes to Tiki.
All right.
Tiki with Gonzo.
So, guys, I think we should do Claude's question because he's really kind of chomping at the bits for it.
All right, which one?
Well, I think it's the same one.
Okay, I saw both. I didn't read them.
Also, before you read it, we need to put the asterisks that, Dragon, do you know offhand exactly which shows? Because there were quite a few that.
Okay, if memories. Well, do you want to tell them or should I?
There was Kim Possible.
Yep.
Recess.
Yep.
Proud Family, I know.
Proud Family.
American
Dragon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think those are the only ones.
I'm pretty sure it was just 4, and those were the. Oh wait. Did someone say Recess?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Then yeah, it's all.
Those 4.
Okay.
And do we add the wrinkle of it being did it have to exist at the time, or can it be any show?
I think it should be any show, honestly.
All right, so any show that's
the ones you just listed were some of the big heavy hitters of that era.
Well, I'm saying, do we want to go 2000s onward or all time? That's what I'm trying to.
Oh, I mean, we could go all time. I don't know. I mean, my choice is going to be from 2000s.
Technically, Stitch is crossed over with movies, so by that logic,
Actually, maybe we should probably just do anything that predates the movie is off the table, possibly.
I'm thinking. What do you think, Jacob?
I mean, I can kind of see that. I mean, Recess technically did come before the movie, and it did cross over with that. But I think for the sake of ease, if it makes.
What I'm saying is Disney afternoon stuff that ended in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can go with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. My answer is going to be Gravity Falls.
All right, Gravity Falls.
Hold on, I'm looking up what animated.
Oh, you
Cheater! Cheater!
I don't know what.
Shame!
I was.
Pergron, I'm so disappointed in you right now.
Hey, let the man.
There's a
let
really
the man cook.
obvious one. There's
Let
a
the
really
man cook.
obvious, famous one that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, he's filmed
Dragon
Twitter
and Jacob may or may
personified.
not do a
Animated show
podcast
Twitter
about.
personified. Let the man cook.
All right.
No, I'm not doing.
You mean let the man microwave?
I refuse to do Phineas and Ferb. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Brother, come on.
I'm not doing
I'm
it.
not gonna lie. I was tempted to go with Phineas and Ferb.
I'm not doing
Maybe
Phineas and
Pergron's
Ferb.
not as smart as we think he is.
Smarter.
Yeah.
So when's our time frame?
Oh my
Because I
God.
have a pick, but it ended in
Claude said
99.
any show, so
Yeah, there's no time limit.
you want to go Disney after?
Say your pick. Say your pick.
Timon and Pumbaa.
Oh,
Okay.
man. Okay.
Timon and Pumbaa.
That's
Interesting pick.
Underrated show, dude. Underrated show.
It's-
This is a great one.
I mean, that show really makes no sense in its own. I mean, especially in terms of the Lion King, it makes no sense.
Yeah, don't feed.
Let's
me.
not try to tamp down on our contestants' picks.
I know I'm not, but okay, I'll
No,
say that.
the show flies in the face of Lion King continuity. I think that's one of the really fun
I know.
things about
You
it.
see what you
It's
started?
so
You see
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you put him
I know,
off? He's foaming at the mouth now.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and let's move on, shall we? 30
Okay.
seconds, Tiki, when you're ready.
Yep.
I mean, sorry, I just didn't want to give Pergron any ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I think a Gravity Falls crossover just kind of writes itself. I mean, obviously with Gravity Falls, you're dealing with supernatural, paranormal stuff all the time. Aliens is actually like, it's not really something that Gravity Falls really tackled all that much. But I do think that Aliens is something that's right for Gravity Falls. And also, Gravity Falls is very much a summer franchise. Lilo and Stitch has the Hawaii vibes. I just think it'd be perfect.
Timon and Pumbaa is just absolute fucking batshit insanity, and I think it would really complement the batshit insanity of Lilo and Stitch. They'd be the grounded ones in this situation. Not to mention 2 iconic gay couples crossing, like fucking Jumba and Pleakley meeting Timon and Pumbaa. The earth would explode with how iconic that moment would be. It's insane enough with iconic characters.
All right, please don't count this toward. Hold on. Please don't count this towards my time. But like, I'm almost tempted to just give it to Pergron right there, just for that Timon and Pumbaa point. Okay, hold on. Oh boy, shit, Pergron, that was good. That was good. Oh man. I mean, imagine Grunkle Stan having to cover up all his crazy supernatural bullshit from Cobra Bubbles. Imagine all the wild and wacky supernatural characters reacting to Stitch. Once again, the Gravity Falls characters would be the straight men.
I think Gravity Falls is just a little too wacky for Lilo and Stitch to be the straight men. Imagine Timon and Pumbaa flying through fucking space. That's the type of garbage that we'd get, and it's beautiful. It's amazing. Lion King, Lilo and Stitch, both beloved franchises. I'd love to see them cross over. Queens, no queens, bro.
I honestly, it's Claude's call, but I genuinely think Pergron deserves the point here.
Well, Claude, if you're still here, let us
Oh
know.
god, that Jumba Pleakley thing was genius. Yes.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, if this counts, I have to. Slay. It's Pride Month, baby.
For like 5 more days.
5 more days.
I mean, Claude, yeah, Phineas and Ferb is, but Claude, make your choice as far as like the answers.
Oh, he said that like 3 minutes.
That was earlier, Tiki.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch crossing with Phineas and Ferb would have just been the Meep episodes.
Yeah, that probably would. Yeah, I can see
I honestly don't know that much about Phineas and Ferb. You know what would have been fun though is Milo Murphy's Law. I kind of wish I would have picked that.
Yeah, that would have been
a viable option.
I found out that show existed like 3 days ago.
It's
And Weird Al voices them like
Yep.
a kid. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
It's a great show.
I'm seeing Weird Al in concert in like 2 months. I'm really excited.
That's awesome.
I'm jealous.
I didn't get tickets to the show he's doing in my state is nowhere near me.
Mm.
Did you guys see he's saying "Call me Al"?
Yeah,
You can call me Al.
Oh my god, really?
that
Oh,
was-
wow.
but on the plus side, he is coming to a convention near me in December, so there is that.
Nice.
I don't get to see him in concert, but I do get to see him in person.
All right, Claude, still waiting on that ruling.
As if Claude's not ready by the time the timer here hits 1:29, I'll.
Why 129? Why?
I don't know
that?
because I don't want to wait until 1:30. And to make Claude make his decision.
The audience can't see this timer. That's just.
I know. I'm just all right. He has 20 more seconds.
There you go. I mean, look, this pick would have been a great one, but just for nostalgic, kind of kid in me, I would have loved to have seen the.
All right, Claude has answered.
All right.
No, great.
Lilo and Stitch and Wander Over Yonder. You also pitched that idea.
Wander Over Yonder would have been great. I wish I would have thought of that. Yeah.
Yep, that would have been good, but he goes with Timon and Pumbaa. But Timon and Pumbaa gets the point.
I mean, even I would have just like thrown it to Pergron at that point.
I mean, that's what I said. Like I said, if Claude hadn't given the point, I would have made the final decision, and I would have gone with Pergron as well.
Yeah.
So
All tied up in the House of Mouse.
Although you're Stark Man, but no one cares. We're just gonna move on.
but Dragon, you want that to cross
Tied
over
Up
with
in the House
everything?
of Mouse sounds like the start of like a kinky fan fiction.
Jesus, Tiki, get
Check
your
out my
mind out of
Wattpad.
Man.
And Dragon, you want Buzz Lightyear Starkman to cross over with everything.
Well, I want some representation.
No, Buzz Lightyear Star Command, that would be a very solid one. That would be a very solid pick.
I know the logic wouldn't track, but it'd be cool.
It would.
Darkwing Duck would also be.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I don't know about Darkwing Duck. Isn't all the no, never mind. There's non-anthropomorphic characters in that show, isn't there?
Yeah, pretty much. I think so. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's not a lot of humans, but I think there's kind of like dog-faced characters and things like that.
Yeah, Bonkers.
Well, Bonkers is actually what I was thinking of. Where Bonkers literally doesn't Bonkers canonically take place in Toontown?
I think so. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyways,
So Dragon, what are you feeling next?
All right, let's see.
Is it like something musical or something from the other studio?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh boy. Let's go with the other studio.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. So, what would Stitch's favorite Pixar movie be?
Wall-E.
All right, Tiki with Wall-E.
Stitch's favorite Pixar movie?
Yes.
That's right, Pergron. That's what the question was.
Stitch's favorite Pixar movie
Yes.
would be Luca.
Okay.
Huh. Okay.
Interesting choice.
I can respect this. I can respect both these choices. All right. Tiki, when you're ready, when you are.
So, like, obviously with Wall-E, you've got the space connection with Stitch. I think he'd feel very at home with all the Axiom scenes. But the main reason I went with Wall-E is actually the fact that, like, Wall-E is, for all intents and purposes, like a borderline silent film with, like, just the amount of dialogue that he would be able to understand it. Like, I think it'd be, and it's not that Stitch can't understand English, but I just think with it being such a visual film, it'd just be right up his alley.
Luca is a fish out of water story, quite literally. And Stitch is a fish out of water, and I think he would really connect with that character. We also see that Stitch loves the ugly duckling. He loves these really sweet stories with a happy ending, and I think he would absolutely adore the Luca finale. I think he would absolutely relate to what's going on, and I think he would just really enjoy and relate to that story overall. I yield my time to the chair.
Okay, honestly, Wall-E is a literal trash robot. If you're going to make the ugly duckling comparison, I think it fits more with Wall-E than it does with Luca, frankly. Yeah, I just think with Luca, Stitch would just watch it and be like, this is a prequel of Jumba and Pleakley's relationship. I'm sorry, I had to get that in there.
Happy Pride Month, y'all.
Just queening out on the chat here. I mean, yeah, I think Luca is a much more ugly duckling story than Wall-E is, and I think Stitch would relate to that. They're also both bluish, so that's pretty neat. And the connections to water. No, I just think Stitch loves a movie like that.
All right, Dragon, since you came up with this question, I'll let you choose the winner.
Well, oh
Well,
boy. Oh boy, let's go. Let me think here. Well, I think I'm leaning towards. I think it's close, but I think I'm leaning towards Pergron with Luca.
Okay.
He really had me on the whole the finale part. Like, yeah, Stitch really would like that.
but man, I'm sounding like Porky Pig here. What I'm trying to say
Day
is
the Earth blew up. Coming to Max tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Now Max wants it.
I know, right?
But my point was that I think Tiki made a good point with the ugly duckling comparison.
Yeah, no, it was good.
I think the silent film aspect of Wall-E would definitely be because like a lot of Pixar movies, they're not that they're dialogue driven, but like you kind of have to have some basic level of like English language comprehension.
And obviously, I think I got a little hung up on that point because obviously it's not like Stitch doesn't understand English. Of course he does.
I think, my choice would have been Incredibles.
My choice would have been Monsters Inc.
Yeah, me too. I would.
Monsters Inc. is also a good point considering the relation between a monster and a little girl. Yeah.
Sure.
You see Pleakley in the movie with Mike. Yeah.
Let's be honest. In reality,
Mike and Sully are basically just jumping Pleakley. All right.
Yeah.
Another gay couple, iconic.
Let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. The real answer for Stitch's favorite Pixar movie is not Cars 1, but Cars 2. Just because it made her.
Sure.
Like I said, I'm going with I went with the Incredibles because like it has all the things that Stitch loves. Like it has the family aspect and it has the superhero action too. So
I can absolutely see Stitch recreating the wasabi scene.
Yes.
Cars 2.
Oh, wasabi. Nah, what's up with you? Anyway,
jokers we made about Mater and Cars. I saw a narrative once, Larry Kilgate. That role really did change his life for the better. He loves that character. So I'm really nice about that.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll throw that out there. Okay. Jacob, let's wait, did we have a question in the comments we wanted to use?
I'm not seeing any more that I really
I don't
wanted
think we have any more audience questions.
Okay, let's turn on the radio.
I mean, Eli technically had a question about like which hold on, sorry. Which voices do you want to see for the other experiments? Prominently 625, but I'm not familiar enough with that.
All right. I actually met the voice of 625.
That's true.
Rob Paulson. So, anyway.
Don't everyone applause at once. So, let's turn on the radio for the next question, Jacob.
All right. I think you guys might like this one.
Okay.
Best usage of an Elvis song across the franchise.
Burning Love.
Technically, I did say it didn't have to be sung by Elvis, so I guess that does work.
That's true. That counts. He's good.
Yep.
Pergron, you better not be looking anything up.
And Claire, and it is the one from the 2002 one, right? The Winona Judd version?
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify on that.
The Elvis moments.
Right, Pergron. So Elvis is the guy with the hair.
Just thank you very much a lot.
I just say for the record, there wasn't nearly enough of an Elvis hyperfixation in the remake.
That's sad.
I think she name drops him like twice.
I mean, there might have been like, I don't know if there were issues or they just wanted to focus on something else. But
no, you're right. It was probably the rights issues, but I
at least incorporated like some of the songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the sequel, Austin Butler will show up, but not.
Oh my God! Oh yes.
That'd be good.
I'll go with Heartbreak Hotel, where she's laying down, listening to it. I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Tiki?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had something in my throat.
No, you're good. The word of the day here, kids, is catharsis. I think that having Burning Love as that, like, leading into the credit song, and then having, like, all the photographs and stuff that kind of, like, really paint the picture of, like, yes, this is a found family, and the found family is going to stay together. Like, I don't know, man. For me, it's really, really motivational. And I think, frankly, I really like the choice that we've heard Elvis throughout the whole movie, and this is, like, a more modern take on an Elvis song for the family. I think that really fits.
The moment of Heartbreak Hotel is Lilo laying on the floor just listening to music, and we've all been there. It's a moment of reflection, of kind of depression, and I think it really captures Lilo because there is an Elvis obsession there, and it's also one of his darker songs. It's one of the songs that he is able to kind of like showcase that it's not all happy fun times like most of his songs are. So I think it captures the mood really well.
Tiki?
I really do like your moment, Pergron. My issue with it is that I just don't think the song is as much at the forefront of the scene as my thing is. I feel like, by the very nature of it, the song is kind of in the background, whereas my scene is just like super uplifting and energetic, and the song is very prominent.
All right, since I gave the timer a little bit late there, I'll give Pergron a couple extra seconds.
All right. I think my biggest issue with yours is it's not sung by Elvis. Like, I know that's kind of, whatever, but it isn't sung by Elvis, where my version is sung by Elvis. And it's a moment where it captures Lilo's emotional state in that moment, while also showcasing like a hyperfixation of hers, which establishes.
All right, I'll let Rohit go pick this one.
I think I'll go with Tiki.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Tiki. That brings it down to the gauntlet. 4-4. Not 6-6, but 4-4.
4-4.
4-4. Experiment 4-4.
No,
We
say
should
like
play to
Zach
7
Galifianakis.
points. We should play to 7 points just specifically so we can make this 6-6 pun.
Yeah, 6-6.
Say like Zach Galifianakis.
I still. Well, never mind.
What if there is an experiment 4-4 actually?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's not an official one. It's like a fan one.
Yeah, there's got to be.
Well, no, there is one, but it's kind of they have to pause like Leroy and Stitch to really know for sure.
Yeah, it's like one that was never actually shown in the series.
We got to be in a crowd shot somewhere.
I remember when I was a kid, I was naive to think that the animated series was going to have exactly 625.
No, me too. I had the same thing. Well, no, I had the thing where when they put out the movie, they had like the little checklist.
Right,
and there were some episodes that had multiple experiments, so I thought it was possible. I thought, we'd be able to at least see them.
Oh well. Well, we got like 60 of them, I think.
Well, again, the movie, Leroy and Stitch, in essence, showed the whole bunch of them, but we don't really see them.
And there were duplicates.
I don't say they're duplicates. It's a whole anyway.
It's a bit of a snag. So,
all right, what next, Jacob?
Do you want to? I kind of want to delve into another topic.
All right.
I don't know if I want to like go to another outside influence or go with a more villainous route or what.
Y'all have any universal questions by any chance?
Unfortunately, we
Is
don't.
the true Epic Universe fanboy that I am?
Unfortunately, we don't.
All right, that's fine. I just thought it might fit in with How to Train Your Dragons, but it's fine.
I mean, we could also come up with the Nintendo Switch 2 question since that came out this month too.
Talking about Switch 2 is like a can of worms. Let's not go there.
Okay, do we want?
I mean, we've got other lots of cans of worms we shouldn't have this debate.
That's fair.
Do we want more?
No, actually, no, I don't. Dragon, you were gonna say?
Okay, should we do? So we have three. Honestly, we have like 3 topics we can pick from here. Do we want something a little more, a little Disney villain? Do we want? Want some Marvel? Want a side of Star Wars? What do we want here?
Well, maybe let's save the Disney villain one for an exhibition match. Like a non-canon one.
All right. Well, let's go with the Marvel one.
Actually, I kind of want to go with the Star Wars.
All right, fine. Go with the Star Wars one. Use that one.
All right. It's to keep it space themed. All right.
Sure. Let's keep it space themed. Let's use the Star Wars.
Because there's no space related stuff in Marvel at all.
You know what I mean.
I'm kidding.
You know what I mean. Which Star Wars planet should Stitch have been exiled to?
Ooh.
Camino.
Of course, that he doesn't have to look up.
I'm gonna go with Endor. Yeah, I don't. Can someone please give me I don't know exactly what Camino is.
Camino's the clone facility.
It's the
Okay, got it.
It's the planet where all with the long necked aliens who made the clones.
It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. It seems that Jango Fett the bounty hunter.
It's a very expo heavy planet.
Yeah, it's the prequels. They're all that.
That's true.
So Pergron, lay out your answer when you're ready.
All right, if we're exiling this little terrible monster that we know has one weakness to a planet, I'm exiling him to the planet that is entirely ocean and is always raining. That is the perfect planet to put Stitch on. If I was the Galactic Councilwoman and I was going to sit there and say Stitch needs to go basically to his version of hell to stay there forever, I am going to send him to the place that is 100,000% going to get him soaked.
Oh man! Wow.
Tiki.
Okay, my argument for Endor is kind of twofold. It's one of two things is going to happen on Endor. Either Stitch is going to kill all the Ewoks. Stitch is just going to go full-blown murderous rampage, and nobody really likes the Ewoks anyways. We can stand to get rid of them. Or the Ewoks are going to overpower Stitch, and it's going to be that kind of hell on earth scenario that Pergron was describing. Either way, I think it'd be a fun time.
Camino is also home to the Kaminoans, which are some of the most capitalistic assholes in the galaxy. They are going to take Stitch and they are going to continue to experiment on him. They're going to continue to make him a terror, just his life hell. He's going to be soaked. He's going to be prodded.
I think the biggest argument against what you're saying is that what is one of the main things these people do? They clone them. So if you're going to exile Stitch, why the fuck would you send him to a planet that is known for cloning things? We don't want a bunch of Stitch clones.
I think I'll signal the closing for this. And I will say, congratulations, Tiki, you're the winner.
Wait, did Pergron get his rebuttal?
Yeah, I went.
Yeah. He went first.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, undercut your victory.
Tiki wins.
All right.
No, I was just hoping you weren't going to bring that part up.
Honestly, I'm surprised none of you went with Tatooine.
Stitch would never have a problem with sand.
Stitch would become a bounty hunter.
I
in
mean,
about 20
they're two sons. I don't think. I mean, he's full of fur. I feel like that's an inhospitable environment.
First of all, the desert planet in Star Wars that's known for exiling people is going to be Jakku, not Tatooine. Second of all, I'm really surprised that nobody went with Dagobah. I honestly didn't go with Dagobah just because it was too obvious.
But he will eventually befriend the frogs.
Luke, use the Force and run to Dagobah, Dagobah.
And I don't have a problem with Ewoks personally, but I do think that it would be fun to watch them get taken over by Stitch.
I think Tiki was mugged by Ewoks once, or an Ewok at a convention.
I think Stitch probably would like the Ewoks. He'd probably be like
the Ewoks fluffy.
Yeah, I think he'd befriend the Ewoks. I don't know why Tiki was very murder happy with the Ewoks.
Yeah.
should
What,
probably
what
think
do
through
Ewoks do to you, Tiki?
I mean, the question is like,
Kind
I
of
mean,
ruins bits of Return of the
Oh!
Jedi.
then again, this is pre-redemption Stitch, so who knows?
Mustafar would also be a good option as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was considering Mustafar.
I feel like
And-
Mustafar would let him be the most evil he is.
And then again, this is pre-redemption Stitch, so he probably wouldn't befriend the Ewoks.
Stitch would love Darth Vader, though.
Nice helmet.
As I'm saying, he would like pest. It would be adorable. He'd be like the little neighbor kid, like pestering Darth Vader in his castle. Like, you know,
Oh my
he
God.
wants to hang out. It'd be adorable.
Vader recruits Stitch as his apprentice.
I mean, the
Imagine Stitch with the
It'd be like the closest thing Vader would have to a pet, and he'd love him.
the thing is, there actually is a manga crossover where Stitch travels back in time and befriends a samurai lord.
There you go.
I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not making this up.
Samurai Stitch goes hard as a title, though.
I think it is. I
The
think
Frank
it's,
Miller take on Stitch.
I think it is. I think it's just called Stitch and the Samurai. Let Stitch kill.
I agree. If we take one thing away from this podcast, let Stitch kill.
All
Throw
right.
that down in the
Let's see the
comments.
Tarantino
Hashtag-
version of Lilo and Stitch.
hashtag
mean-
let
You mean
Stitch
the
kill.
Snyder version of Stitch? Lilo and Stitch?
All right. All right. So Tiki did win, but let's get some non-canon exhibition match in. The Dragon, you want to delve into
You
the
want to
question?
do it with the punishment on my end?
All right. Let's do
I don't know if it's going to absolve you, Tiki. You can do it anyway.
All right, let's just see what the punishment would have been. All right.
Yeah, I'm
If he
curious.
wins on lose a point, do we get to
No.
are we back in?
Just say that.
No.
Are you sure, Jacob?
I'm sure. I'm the host. I say yes. I'm
Okay.
sure.
I want to clarify. All right.
That would be
Alright, this-
fun.
This is okay. So this is basically going to be the. This
I
would
mean,
be the
technically,
punishment.
if I lost 1 point and gave it to the opponent, it'd just mean that.
Does that
Pergron
mean I
won.
win?
Yeah. So that's
I'm
what
not
I'm
gonna
saying.
lie, I'd be okay with that.
All right, but either way, it's not going to take effect. Not going to take effect. Tiki wins, and this means Pergron's going to get punished instead.
Oh my God. Wow.
All right, so Tiki, your punishment becomes Pergron's. All right, here we go.
Unless it reverses again, which would be amazing.
Oh, okay.
The legend was reversal.
Oh,
again.
big surprise.
All right, a lot of these are kind of irrelevant for just.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
this
know.
was a great idea.
Remember, this is what it would have been. That was the
right.
point.
All right.
So to Pergron, you're not getting any points for this.
That was the one that fucked me over last time I got it.
Yep. So Dragon, why don't you reveal your question?
All right, which Disney villain should employ Captain Gantu? I mean, we missed him in the movie. You know, we should give him some work.
Maleficent.
Pergron.
Cruella DeVille.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Cruella DeVille. Thank you when you're ready for your opening statement.
So Maleficent, man, I mean, she had like just the goons in the original, besides the Crow, I guess. And then she kind of upgraded to in the Kingdom Hearts franchise to having Pete. And I feel like Gantu would be kind of like the third Pokemon evolution of like a Maleficent hype man. Like I really think that Gantu would be like the perfect muscle to complement Maleficent's like evil and sorcery. I think he's the brawn where Maleficent is the brain.
Gantu's resume is catching fluffy things, and there is nothing Cruella DeVille loves more than catching fluffy things. She would love to make a Stitch coat, and there's only one person who can attempt to do it. So absolutely, I think Cruella DeVille, as soon as she sees that blue fuzzy coat, she's gonna be like, I need this man, I need this shark boy, I need him to come out, I need him to kidnap that little blue dog, and I need him to murder it so that I can wear it skin.
Frankly, I do not trust Cruella DeVille around any anthropomorphic animal character. Like, she would see Captain Gantu, and all she would think is that shark skin would make a handsome leather jacket, man. And I just don't think she could help herself.
Thanks for making my point for me, because if he fails, she can always slide back into Plan B, where she gets a nice leather jacket or a nice handbag. Failed her. She can't do that to Horace and Jasper, who might be her sons.
Might be her sons?
Might be her sons.
They might be her sons. They just
Where did
feel
that
like
come from?
she absolutely wouldn't keep them around. That's
Pergron, what AO3 fanfic have you read?
No, that's my theory. They've got to be her sons. Why would she keep them around?
This is new lore I wasn't expecting.
Man, this is a really similar ass debate here. God damn.
Alrighty then. Dragon, who do you give your non-existent point to?
Tiki.
Right.
Alright, Tiki wins. Tiki wins that round.
Appreciate it.
You know what that gives Tiki?
Nothing.
6 points.
6 points.
Yeah.
Technically, all right, let's make it. Let's say Tiki gets 6 points.
All right.
There you go.
Even though it is non-canon.
Don't worry, kid. None of this is canon.
All right, so Dragon, we never heard the words throughout this entire debate.
Sadly, no.
Why don't you tell the audience and our fine contestants what the words were?
Well, we had cousin. We had Ohana, which I'm really shocked didn't come up. And tattoo.
Tattoo.
Yep.
Tatooine.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of a stretch.
It's a name. It's a planet name, though. It's it's too separate.
It's a bit of a
tattoo would be that's specifically targeted at me, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Yes.
He's the one who came up with it, not me.
Yeah. No, it's full accurate. I mean, he had the Link Hog Throb thing. I had the tattoo thing.
All right.
And did Pergron win with Link Hogthrob anyway, so
Yep, so yeah. And tattoo was said, but not by you.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I wrote the intro before Dragon pitched that word, and
That's true.
And he didn't know it was going to be in there. So,
Yep.
All right. So I think that was a well fought game, folks. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got a little in my own head there at the beginning, and I apologize, but
It's all good.
no, I was kind of a dick. I apologize for it. Anyways,
I mean, it's like we forgive you.
all right.
I apologize for nothing.
I believe that.
I apologize for everything.
Yin and yang.
All right, folks. Well, thank you. Hold on. Let's see. Thank you, Claude, LEB, Code Geass, Eli, for joining us this evening. It's been actually Slasher Fred and Mr. Fulton Mraz.
Yeah.
For joining us this evening and allowing us to show love to that little blue alien we all adore so much. So, happy Stitch Day, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.